What's up guys, in today's video we're going to be going for the Platinum Trophy in Animal Well. Now I'm sure many of you are feeling the same way, but there has been a serious lack of new games being released. And even though this has been a little bit frustrating and annoying, I've honestly been enjoying going back through my backlog and getting the Platinum games for heaps of older games that I just never finished. So lately, whenever something new pops up on the game catalogue, I'm instantly intrigued to check it out. And on May the 9th, to my surprise, Animal Well was released for free for PlayStation Plus subscribers. I've got a lot of experience playing games, and if you look at my PSN profile, I have over 200 games played on just the PlayStation 4, 5, and 3. However, what intrigued me so much about Animal Well is that I have never played a Metroidvania / platform type of game that you would typically find on a Nintendo. I did have a Game Boy as a little kid, but honestly, I didn't really play it much, and that was because of my addiction to Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation 1. So instantly, I thought Animal Well would satisfy my crave for a new game. With the game being so new, there are not many guides online, and I had to play through this fairly well blindly and figure things out myself. But after completing the game, I can say that the Platinum itself will take around approximately 15 hours to complete, will take one playthrough, and I'd honestly rate it at around a 4 out of 10 for difficulty. There is technically one missable trophy in the game, and this is for sneaking up on a squirrel and stealing its nut. There are only a limited number of opportunities to do this, as the squirrels don't respawn once you have scared them off. However, if you do happen to miss this, you can sneak up on a squirrel in the first 5 minutes of the game and get this trophy done pretty quickly. Another thing to take note of is that just like any other Metroidvania games, this game is non-linear, and you can basically complete this in any way that you like. There are YouTube videos out there describing certain puzzles, and I certainly recommend using them if you get stuck, as there are definitely some tricky ones in this game. So let's get into our Platinum Trophy journey. So the story in Animal Well is fairly basic, and as you find more and more clues, you kind of understand more and more about what's going on. However, our main objective is to work our way through different sections of the game and destroy 4 candles. Once we destroy these 4 candles, we will then have access to an underground labyrinth and then need to fight a final boss. And as I said before, you don't have to destroy these candles in any particular order. You can pick and go wherever you want. And I'm sure, as you just saw from watching, we popped our first trophy literally in the first minute of starting the game for finding our first ever egg. There are 64 of these to get in the game, and they access a secret ending. However, we will get to this later on in the video. As I continued my exploration, I found the map, popping trophy number 2. Explorer. Find the map. Okay, well that's going to be helpful. Now, for the next 2 hours or so, I pretty much just spent my time going around the map and investigating and unlocking new things. However, this was definitely a mistake, as I definitely lost track of where I'd been, as some areas you do need certain abilities to progress further, and I really probably should have just completed one area before moving on to the next. However, for some reason, my brain doesn't function like that when I'm playing a game, and if I get bored of one area, I decided just to go on to the next area and start doing it. But regardless of that, we then popped trophy number 3 for learning a new way to get around the map. Walk the dog. Find a new way to get around. So as I said before, the initial playthrough was definitely just exploring and just figuring out where everything was. The other thing as well is that as you're going along, you earn new abilities which can help you to navigate the map and get to areas that previously were hard to discover. And here I earned trophy number 4 for just mucking around and somehow landing on my disc, which helped me to move around the map in another different way. Back and forth forever. Find a new way to get around. So at this stage of the game, we're approximately about 3 to 4 hours in, and I'd done a lot of investigating. However, I honestly was stooped at this point and had no idea how to progress further along in the map. And as you can see, I was literally Googling here how to move around the place and how to get around, and I was pretty much just stuck. So I was starting to get a little bit frustrated and decided, look, this is probably the best time to call it a day, and we would leave it and come back again tomorrow. So day 2 came around, and I pretty much decided to scrap that last area we were in and try to progress through other areas of the map, as I knew I was definitely missing something and there was definitely other areas to explore. However, like I mentioned earlier, I'd been to so many places on the map that I just hadn't known where I had and hadn't been in regards to completion, and it was really frustrating trying to figure out where to go next. But everywhere I went, I kept hitting dead ends, and I was being stubborn that I didn't want to check a guide. However, I finally decided that I needed to check a guide and figure out where the hell I needed to go next. However, we finally made a breakthrough and discovered our next passage, discovering our 8th egg and popping our 5th trophy. Egg enjoyer. Find 8 secret eggs. So at this stage of the game, I was about 5 to 6 hours in, and I was honestly thinking to myself, like, what the heck am I doing? I hadn't found a candle yet. I'd honestly just been aimlessly wandering around the map and literally had not achieved anything in regards to the story. However, we finally had a breakthrough and managed to push through an area that I was completely confused with, and then we finally had our first boss fight of the game. And then finally, after beating this boss, we were able to destroy our first candle, and I finally felt like I was making some progress on this game. Oh my god, the strat.
Get, go get the strat.
We did it. I was locked in then. And oh my god, finally. Found V-Flame. Chameleon. Find the V-Flame. So after finding my first flame or candle, my motivation was literally through the roof, and I just started to pump through the progression and smash out some trophies. Egg hobbyist. Find 16 secret eggs. A couple of days? Nice, so not too long. Seahorse. Find the bee flame. Let's go. Ostrich. Find the G flame. Okay. Ghost. Find the P flame. Okay. So after finding the final flame, I took these back to the original starting area and unlocked the underground labyrinth. Now this is where you're approaching the end game and have to fight the final boss. So I was a little bit nervous to go ahead and finish the game, as I was unsure if I'd be able to access the game afterwards, as I hadn't found many of the eggs and I needed to get all of these collectibles. But I thought, stuff it, let's go down, let's just progress through this game, let's get it done. And I went down and defeated the final boss. Manticore. Release the Manticore. Okay, I guess that was part of the end game. So with the game now finished, all we had left to do was tidy up the collectibles, and then tied to the collectibles was an alternate ending which we would get at the very, very end. Now, Animal World does a really good job at hiding all of the collectibles, and if I'm being completely honest, you're going to need to follow along with a guide, because some of these collectibles are hidden in places that I just couldn't even have imagined. But there are some pretty good guides on YouTube, and you can definitely follow them to get all of the eggs. The rest of them are all fairly straightforward and will be easy to get done. However, I definitely recommend a guide here to save yourself a lot of time. But before getting the collectibles done, I decided to clean up all of the miscellaneous trophies, and the first one we popped was for using the flute to fast travel. Hey, there we go. Travel flute. Find a new way to get around. Woohoo. Egg Lord. Find 32 secret eggs. Woohoo. Hey, bubble ecstasy. Pop 1000 bubbles. That was... After cleaning up those couple of collectible trophies, I finally found my last egg, and then I was ready to get the alternate ending. Egg well. Find all secret eggs. I wanted to save the alternate ending till last, however I realised at this stage that I had basically missed a trophy at the very start of the game, which was the squirrel one, and so I decided to finish off all of these trophies, get the alternate ending, and then finish with the squirrel trophy. Candle bright, light all candles, woohoo! Secret rabbit, find a secret rabbit, there we go. Exit. Leave the well. Yes! That was like the hardest one to get. So all I had left to do was sneak up on a squirrel, and as I said before, you can start a new game if you miss this in the start, and it'll only take you about 3 or 4 minutes to get to the first squirrel, and you can basically sneak up on him, steal the nut, and then earn your final trophy if needed. Sneak. Sneak up on a squirrel, and then... Let me get my video out. So if I'm being completely honest, Animal Well absolutely surprised me, and this is a seriously underrated game that I feel like hasn't gotten much attention since it first came out. If you're looking for something that's relatively short, somewhat challenging, and actually quite fun and smooth to play, this basically ticks all of the boxes. If I had to give Animal Well a rating, it's really my first Metroidvania style game, so I don't really have much to compare it to, but I honestly really enjoyed it, and I'd probably rate it a 7 to an 8 out of 10. If you're looking for something new and fresh, then I'd certainly recommend this as it is free for the time being, so get in and get it done as quick as possible. As always, guys, thank you for tuning in. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't subscribed, and I will see you guys all in the next one.